Hello, and welcome to Marketing Magic Mondays. I'm your host, Stephen Westwood. I'm here for you every Monday. Now, if you're interested in marketing and would love to learn more about marketing, the psychology behind it, and how you can use marketing to grow your business, then I highly recommend that you hit that subscribe button and you can get notified every time there's a new video. Now, today we're going to be looking at demographic segmentation. What is demographic segmentation and how can you use it? Are there any examples? Well, yes, there are. So, you're going to learn all about demographic segmentation. And the reason why is if you remember back in the very first video that I did on my YouTube channel, I gave you a breakdown of what marketing was to its very basic elements, which were targeted communication. In the last episode, I went through geographic segmentation and how you can use that to develop dynamic pricing, engage the right type of customers based on their cultural and language preferences, and how geographic location can help grow your business no matter how big or small. Dynamic segmentation is what marketers refer to when we are dividing the target audience, the prospective customer base, in terms of their traits. So what I mean by this is their age, their race, their gender, their education level, their income level, their family structure, their religion. There's so many different ways that you can break down a target audience when it comes to demographic segmentation. Now, this is probably one of the more popular, or this is probably the most popular type of segmentation there is. Everybody to an extent has heard of it. It does make sense to break your market down by these sorts of traits and characteristics using the census as well, that sort of same data to identify who it is that you're trying to target. It can be used for B2B and B2C marketing, although with B2B you're more likely to see occupational segmenting, which is breaking down the market by the type of job or the type of business that they are. It still follows the same principles as demographic segmentation. So what are the benefits of segmenting the market by demographics? Well, the first thing is improved personalization. Somebody at the age of 18 who is female and non-religious would be different from somebody at the age of 50 who is male, has a family, and is religious. They're very, very different in terms of how they approach life, very different in terms of the stages of life that they are at, and very different in terms of the type of things that would attract them or entice them to buy a product or service from you. So by using demographic segmentation, what you're doing is you're providing that more personalized experience, which would mean that your messaging and your market strategy would be received and resonated with on a grander scale within that segment. Benefit number 2 is that it actually improves your product's relevance. Product relevance means how relevant your product is to your target audience. So do they actually have a need for it or a use for it or a want for it? Product relevance is about how your customers will need it. So, for example, let's say that your customer is Muslim, then if you're selling beef, is the beef halal? They will not buy that beef unless it's halal. The same with if they were Jewish, is the ingredient kosher? Because they need it to be kosher in order to consume it. Is it relevant to them? Ultimately, this leads to benefit number 3, which is improving your advertising efficiency or effectiveness. This benefit is definitely going to take care of that budget. It's going to make sure that you are only focusing on the relevant channels and the relevant types of advertising for your business. It means that you're actually not investing in time and resources and finances where there is no need for you to invest in them. By targeting your audience through demographic segmentation, what you're actually doing is allowing your coin purse to go that little bit further. And by doing so, you're increasing the number of products or services that you sell, so you actually increase that bottom line. Now, is demographic segmentation the most effective way, or is it right for you? That depends. So you need to understand what it is that you're selling, the size of your demographic. It depends on the size of your business. It depends on what it is that you're actually selling. And it might be that there are strategies out there that work better for your business. So if you only have the infrastructure to serve a local community, you might be better off with geographical segmentation, which is what I've already discussed in another video that I will link to. If you are looking at demographics, is your product relevant to that particular demographic, or are you still not narrowing down enough? You may need to introduce behavioral segmentation or psychographic segmentation. It, again, like I said, depends on your products and services and what it is that you're offering. There are certain disadvantages as well to demographic segmentation. So these disadvantages could range from being limited. So just because person A and person B fall under the same demographics, age, ethnicity, gender, education, doesn't necessarily mean that they both want or need your product. The next thing is, because of the variables with demographics, it could be easy for you to not combine the right demographic variables, which means that your advertising could actually miss the type of people that you're trying to target. For an example, if you are trying to sell food, then segmenting by gender might not necessarily work. Whereas if you are segmenting by income level or education level and you're a high-end luxury brand, then you're more likely to hit that mark. What you could do is actually have a combined approach. So yes, use your demographics, but also at the same time introduce geographic or psychographic or behavioral segmentation. But that's something that I will be discussing in a later video. But the demographics tends to be the first place that a lot of people start. So for example, have you ever filled out an online survey or a form? They tend to ask you what your gender is and what your age is, and they tend to ask you the demographic questions to get a better understanding as to who they are actually appealing to. This again helps to advertise and sell products. It's market research. It's the basics of market research. It's where you start any marketing campaign. So some examples of segmenting the market through demographics could include Saga, for example. Saga are a over 50s tour operator, so they help people over the age of 50 go on holiday by setting up packages specifically designed for the people within that age group. So what they do is a lot of the images involve people within that demographic. It involves the type of activities that people within that demographic are more likely to do. It also involves lifestyle shots. So walking on the beach, the more peaceful kind of lifestyle. You don't really see Saga with children being advertised or with young couples or as a romantic getaway. It tends to be focused more on peace and tranquility and solitude and lifestyle, and because that's what the majority of the over 50s crowd actually want. They've done all the hustle and bustle, they've done all the work, they've raised their families, their families have now left to start their own lives, so they're ready to travel the world, but they want to do it their own way. They might not be looking for that wild adventure. They want something that's a bit slower pace to help them relax and rest. And that's how Saga do their advertising, and that's how Saga have become so popular amongst the over 50s crowd, which they are specifically targeting. Segmenting based on gender as an example, I'm actually going to show one that kind of backfired on social media. So you're familiar with the brand Bic. They create pens. Amongst other products, it's the pens that we're focusing on. For International Women's Day in 2021, they launched Bic for Her pens. These pens were pink, they were stereotyping, and they even launched a very stereotypical type of campaign with a slogan that said, "Look like a girl, act like a lady, think like a man, work like a boss." So this is actually a very good, terrible example of how to segment your market through demographics, because gender marketing is not about stereotypes. It's not about any type of segmentation. Is not about guessing. It's not about making assumptions. It's about deeply understanding who it is that you're trying to target and using that understanding to develop clear and effective communication that's targeted towards that specific group. Now, if you're going to segment your market based on income or occupation, then there's quite a few different brands that are really good at doing this. Then we could look at Tesla or luxury cars, high-end luxury cars. They're not going to waste money advertising to just everyone, not when they are specifically targeting people who can actually afford to buy their products. So by segmenting the market based on income, what they do is they then show that lifestyle again. They start helping people to dream of how to spend their money, and they show the benefits of it. So back in the 90s, it would have been fast cars, lots of girls, clubbing, that kind of lifestyle. I'm not saying that we moved that far away from it now, but there is more of a thought process behind the lifestyle. So yes, it's being flashy with money, but then at the same time, it's also showing you on a boat or in a private jet or high-end restaurants, and it's all to do with selling that car. Now, the good thing about Tesla is that they haven't actually got a traditional method of advertising. They have sold their cars based on reputation and word of mouth. They also used a lot of news and PR, public relations, to sell their cars. And this falls down to understanding their market. Because they understand who it is that they're trying to sell to, they're able then to leverage that. So people care about the environment, people care about social or economic values. And Tesla have found a way to do that without traditional marketing or advertising. But it all falls down to the fact that they know and understand who will be buying their cars based on income level and education. Another thing companies do, and they do it quite well, when it comes to segmenting the market by demographic, is targeting families, specifically families with small children. If you think about August, there tends to be quite a lot of advertisements for back to school and back to school clothes, back to school bags, back to school stationery. Everything is all about going back to school. Now, this will depict imagery of children, but again, it's more about the parents. It's more about the psychology behind the parents, because the parents will want their children to look fantastic at school, have the latest in pen and pencil case stationery. They want their children to be prepared. And in order to have that, the way the marketing is done is it's back to school and acknowledges the new school year and starts afresh beginnings. So do you think that demographic segmentation is right for you and your business? It is a fantastic way of providing targeted messaging, as well as making sure that your products and services are relevant for who it is that you're trying to target. It does take a while to identify exactly which factors are relevant to your specific demographics, but it does help you, once you've got it, keep your products and services relevant. And don't forget that demographic segmentation is one of the types of segmentation that fits best with the other types of segmentation. And just a quick final thought, demographic segmentation is fantastic for social media advertising. Now don't forget, social media advertising is a strategy. If you think back to the umbrella that I did in the first video, where your targeted messaging was all of the spokes on the umbrella, and you had social media, and you had affiliate marketing, influencer marketing, all of the different types of marketing strategies, they all need to be focused. Let me know in the comments if you have used demographic segmentation in the past, or if you would consider using it now. Please remember to subscribe to my channel if you want to keep up to date on the latest when it comes to marketing, as well as learning the basics that you need in order to become successful. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week.